You think you're in control, but the truth is, a far darker impulse has been pulling your strings from the very start. Every man has a forbidden desire he can't admit. It's not weakness, it's the silent hand shaping his choices, his pride, even his love. Hidden deep within every ambition is an unnamed fear, the invisible thread orchestrating his relationships, status, and pursuit of influence. Welcome. Tonight, we're stepping beyond what you've been told about control, lust, and power. If you've ever felt the pull of something forbidden, stay. This is for you. Like this video, subscribe if you're ready to see the dark truth most men never face. Take a slow breath, let's go deeper. You watch him. He's at the corner table of a dimly lit bar, laughing with his friends. On the surface, he's the picture of success, a sharp suit, a confident smile, the easy command of a room. You've seen this man before, maybe you are this man. You see the surface-level desires, the expensive watch, the fleeting attention of others, the chase for a promotion, but you and he are blind to the real drivers. The desires that haunt him in the quiet hours, the ones he'd never admit to anyone, not even himself. The ones he keeps locked away behind a door of carefully constructed lies. The human mind is a battlefield. And every man is a soldier in a war he doesn't even know he's fighting, the opponent. Not other men, not society, but the part of him that craves the very thing he's been taught to fear. We are born into a world of expectations, a map of what a real man should be. We're told to be strong, to be providers, to be pillars of stability. We learn to suppress, to hide, to deny, but the human mind is not a vault, it's a furnace. And what you try to suppress doesn't disappear, it just burns hotter, transforming into a shadow that follows your every move. Consider the man who works 80 hours a week. He tells himself and everyone else it's for his family, for a better life. But if you were to look closer, to peer through the polished facade, you might see something else entirely. The frantic pace, the constant need for validation from his boss and colleagues. That's not ambition, that's a desperate chase. A chase to outrun the one thing he fears most, his own insignificance. He's not building a legacy for his children, he's building a fortress to protect himself from the shame of being ordinary. The truth is, the freedom he craves, the comfort he seeks, is not in the money or the title, it's in a silence he's terrified to sit with. A silence that would force him to confront the simple, unsettling fact that maybe, just maybe, he doesn't have to be a hero to be a man. Most men live their lives in this dance, chasing the illusion of control. They believe they are the masters of their destiny, the captains of their ships, but the shadow, the hidden part of themselves, is a ghost in the machine. It's the whisper that tells him to take a risk he shouldn't, to flirt with danger, to sacrifice a stable relationship for a fleeting, primal thrill. It's the unacknowledged gravitational pull that makes him resent the very people he claims to love. The truth is, the desire you fight hardest is the one that owns you. It's the invisible puppeteer, and your pride, your ambition, your love, they're all just its strings, and this is where the journey begins. It's a journey not into the minds of others, but into the dark corners of your own, because you cannot analyze people until you first understand the dark truths that drive you. You have to be willing to look at the man in the mirror and ask a single, terrifying question. Is the life I've built a cage to contain a beast I'm too afraid to face? Take another slow breath. This is just the beginning. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. That feeling you have right now, that quiet unease, that sense of a door you shouldn't open. That's good. It means you're still listening to the part of you that's afraid to look. Most men turn away here. They distract themselves with work, with noise, with the comfort of a lie. But you're still here, and that tells me you're ready to see the true nature of the cage you've been living in. They never told you that the very comfort you seek is a masterful illusion binding you. Think about it. You chase stability, a steady job, a reliable partner, a predictable future. You've been programmed to believe this is the pinnacle of success. But what if this comfort isn't a reward? What if it's a cage? What if it's the very mechanism designed to make you settle, to make you docile, to keep you from confronting the wilder, more chaotic part of your own spirit? There's a man I knew, let's call him Mark. He had the perfect life, the kind society applauds, a successful career in finance, a beautiful home, 2 kids. He was the embodiment of stability. But late at night, when the house was quiet, he would sit in his study staring at a single, locked drawer in his desk. Inside that drawer wasn't money or documents. It was a worn-out journal from his youth, filled with half-formed ideas for a novel, a plan to travel the world on a motorcycle, a different life entirely. Every night, the weight of that locked drawer was heavier than his entire life. The security he had built was a prison. He had become a stranger to the boy who once dreamt of a different kind of freedom. Most men don't realize that the illusion of choice is actually a silent prison keeping them blind. You think you're choosing your path, you believe you're making free decisions, but are you, or are you simply picking from a menu of options that have been curated for you by fear, the fear of losing your comfort, the fear of being judged? The fear of not fitting in. The silent masters are not some shadowy figures, they are the rules you've accepted without question, the expectation to conform, to be a certain kind of man. This is the subtle cage that binds you, making you believe that a safe, predictable life is the same thing as a meaningful one. The real prison is psychological, and the guards are your own unexamined beliefs. Every time you deny a secret urge, every time you choose the safe path over the unknown, you are not exercising control. You are reinforcing the walls of that prison, and the most dangerous part, you start to believe the cage is actually a home. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. Now, let's peel back another layer. You've been taught to see shame as a weakness, a flaw to be corrected, a feeling to be pushed into the darkest corners of your mind. But what if shame is actually one of the most powerful and misunderstood forces in a man's life? What if it's not a bug in the system, but a feature, a hidden lever that, when left unexamined, is easily used to manipulate you? Think about the feeling of wanting something you're not supposed to want, the desire for power that crosses a line, the attraction to a situation you know is dangerous, the need for validation from someone you're supposed to be over. You feel a flash of heat, a knot in your stomach. That's shame. It's the internal monitor, the voice of 1,000 social rules and expectations, screaming at you to stop. But most men don't understand that this isn't a sign of moral failing. It's a sign of a deeper, forbidden desire that is actively at war with the man you've been trained to be. Most men don't realize the shame they bury isn't a weakness. It's a powerful, hidden lever that can be used to manipulate their decisions. Think of the man who feels deep shame for a past failure. He believes he's moved on, but his every choice is secretly an attempt to overcompensate. He becomes an overachiever, a workaholic, a man who can't say no to new responsibilities, all in a desperate, unconscious effort to prove to himself and to the world that he is not that person anymore. He's not driven by ambition, he's a prisoner of his own shame, and the prison master is a memory he's trying to outrun. This is the psychological trigger of shame. It's not something that happens to you, it's something that lives inside you, shaping your actions from the shadows. It forces you to build walls, to create a false identity, to push away the very parts of yourself that need to be understood. You're not ashamed of a desire, you're ashamed of the part of you that has that desire. This is the first crack in the facade of control. It's the moment you realize that the person you pretend to be is a ghost, and the real you is a living, breathing shadow, constantly fighting to be seen. The truth is, the more intensely you feel shame, the more intense the underlying desire. This isn't a sign of something wrong with you, it's a map pointing directly to the hidden part of yourself that yearns for freedom, for authenticity, for something forbidden. The shame you bury becomes the foundation of the cage you build around yourself, but that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. What if the things you've been told are your greatest weaknesses are actually the keys to understanding your deepest desires? Most men are taught that vulnerability is a liability, a crack in the armor of masculinity. We're conditioned to believe that revealing our fears, our insecurities, our needs is a sign of weakness. But that's a lie. The things you've been taught to hide are the very things that contain the most profound truths about who you are. The currency of vulnerability is far more valuable than you've ever been led to believe. Consider the man who works tirelessly to earn the respect of his father. He's driven, ambitious, and outwardly successful. But his true desire isn't for a new title or a bigger paycheck. His true desire is for a word of praise, a simple nod of approval. His ambition isn't a sign of strength. It's a direct consequence of a feeling of inadequacy he was taught to bury. His vulnerability, the profound need for paternal approval, is the engine of his entire life. The deepest desires are often born in the exact places you've been conditioned to fear, the pursuit of strength, of dominance, of power. It's often a mask. A thick, impenetrable facade to cover a vulnerability that you've been told is unacceptable. But what if you could see that vulnerability not as a flaw, but as a source of power, not the power of control, but the power of insight? The ability to understand what truly drives you, to be able to look at the parts of yourself you've been taught to hate and realize they are not a weakness, but a map to your true, unadulterated desires. Every fear you have, every insecurity you feel, is a signpost. It's pointing you toward a hidden truth about what you truly crave, the desire to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. These aren't weaknesses, they're fundamental human needs. And when they are denied, suppressed, and hidden, they don't disappear, they mutate. They become the unconscious forces that drive you toward unhealthy relationships, self-sabotaging behaviors, and an insatiable need for external validation. The shame you feel about your vulnerabilities is the very thing that keeps you trapped. This isn't about being soft. It's about being honest. It's about looking at the part of you that's afraid and saying, "I see you." That's where the real power lies, not in pretending to be fearless, but in having the courage to face your own fears. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. What is the face of strength? A granite jaw, a silent stare, a man who stands alone against the world. This is the image we're sold from the moment we're born. But look closer. A mirror doesn't just show you what's in front of you, it shows you a reflection of what you want to believe. The image of strength you project to the world is often a reflection of the very emptiness you're trying to escape. Think of the man who meticulously sculpts his physical appearance. He spends hours in the gym, follows a strict diet, and obsesses over every detail. His friends and colleagues admire his discipline, his strength, but what are they really admiring? They're admiring the mirror, the illusion. They never see the man standing on the other side, the man who fears losing his youth, his power, his relevance. His obsession with his body isn't about health, it's a frantic, desperate attempt to fill a void left by a deep-seated feeling of inadequacy, a quiet terror that without this physical armor, he is nothing. This is the central paradox of modern masculinity. We are told to build a self that is impenetrable, but the very act of building that fortress creates an inner emptiness. The more you focus on the external, the car, the title, the perfect body, the more you starve the internal. You trade authentic self-discovery for a polished facade. You become a character in a play, and you forget who the real actor is. This isn't a judgment, it's an observation, a quiet, unsettling truth that most men feel but can't name. The man in the mirror is an illusion, a beautiful lie you've been telling yourself and everyone around you. You've become a living testament to the idea that if you act the part of a strong man, you will eventually become one. But the shadow you've been ignoring, the part of you that's insecure, afraid, and deeply lonely, is still there. It's watching you, waiting for the perfect facade to crack, because true strength isn't about building a wall, it's about being unafraid to look at what's on the other side. It's about acknowledging the emptiness, the fear, the shame, and realizing that these things don't define you. The man you see in the mirror is the man you've chosen to be, but who is the man you've hidden from everyone, especially yourself? But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. When you enter into any relationship, you believe you're doing so on a foundation of trust, love, and mutual respect, but that's a beautiful fiction. The reality is far more subtle and, frankly, much darker. Every relationship you enter is a silent negotiation for power, and your hidden desires are the unspoken terms of the contract. Think about a man, let's call him Leo, who is in a long-term relationship. On the surface, it's a partnership of equals. He says he loves her unconditionally, he says he values her input, but if you look deeper, you might find something else at play. His true, unacknowledged desire is not just for companionship, but for control. He wants to feel needed, to be the one who makes the final decisions, to be the rock she can't live without. The unspoken bargain in their relationship is this: I will provide stability, and in return, you will reinforce my feeling of being essential. This isn't a malicious desire, it's a primal one. It's the desire to feel indispensable, to have a purpose that is so fundamental to another person's happiness that he can never be replaced. Most men are not consciously aware of this negotiation. They think they're acting out of love, when in reality, their every action is driven by a hidden desire to maintain a certain power dynamic. The small arguments, the subtle manipulations, the silent treatments, these aren't just personality quirks. They are skirmishes in an ongoing war for control. This war isn't about winning or losing. It's about establishing the terms of the bargain, a bargain that is sealed with the currency of your hidden desires. This silent contract is the ghost in the machine of your relationships. It's the feeling of unease when your partner becomes too independent. It's the thrill of having someone need you. It's the fear of being abandoned, which is really a fear of losing your power. These aren't weaknesses. They are primal forces that live in all of us, and they are constantly at play, shaping our connections in ways we can't see. This isn't about demonizing love, it's about being honest about what drives it. It's about realizing that love is often intertwined with a desire for control, for purpose, for validation. You can't understand your relationships until you first understand the unspoken bargain you've made with yourself and your partner. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. Most men believe they are the architects of their own success, building a life brick by brick toward a goal they've chosen. But what if you're not building a monument to your own ambition? What if you're building a shrine to a desire that isn't even yours? You build your life around what you believe is success, but you're really worshiping at the altar of a desire that belongs to someone else. Think about the man who obsesses over his career, climbing the corporate ladder with a frantic, unwavering focus. He tells himself it's for financial freedom, for security, for the respect of his peers. But if you look closely, you'll see the shadow of a different desire, the one his father had, or his community, or the one he saw on television. He's not chasing his own dream, he's chasing a ghost. He's worshiping at a false altar, offering up his time, his energy, and his relationships to a god he doesn't even believe in. The more he sacrifices, the more the idol demands, and the more he feels a hollow emptiness inside. This is the seductive trap of the false altar. It's the pursuit of something that looks like success, sounds like success, and feels like success, but is utterly devoid of personal meaning. The pursuit of power, status, or wealth for their own sake is rarely an expression of genuine desire. It's often a frantic attempt to fill a void, to prove something to someone else, or to the younger version of yourself who was told you weren't enough. The true desire is not for the object itself, the car, the title, the house. The true desire is for what you believe the object will provide: love, respect, safety, or freedom, but the false altar can never give you these things. It can only give you a temporary high, a fleeting moment of validation before the emptiness returns, deeper and more profound than before. You are trapped in a loop, forever seeking more, because you're chasing the wrong thing entirely. The real tragedy is not in failing to reach the top, but in reaching the top and realizing you were climbing the wrong mountain all along. The altar is built of your own unexamined beliefs, and the sacrifice is your own authenticity. The quiet, nagging voice in the back of your head that tells you something is wrong, that's your own true desire, begging to be heard. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. There's a ghost that haunts every man. It's the ghost of what could have been, the version of you that took the risk, the one who said no to the safe path, the one who chose a different life. This ghost isn't a flaw, it's the engine of your ambition, constantly driving you toward a destiny you may never choose for yourself. Most men experience this as a quiet dread, a feeling of being behind, of not living up to their potential. This feeling isn't a sign of laziness or a lack of drive, it's the emotional echo of a path not taken. You are driven not by the desire to succeed, but by the fear of being a failure. This fear, this ghost, is a masterful motivator. It makes you work harder, chase faster, and sacrifice more, but it also keeps you trapped in a cycle of constant striving, forever looking over your shoulder at a rival who doesn't exist. The fear of not living up to your potential isn't a flaw, it's a powerful force, and it's what pushes you into the silent prison of overcompensation. Think of the man who starts a new business. He works 16-hour days, neglects his family, and burns himself out. He tells himself it's for a better future, but the truth is, he's terrified. He's terrified of becoming the person his parents warned him about, the one who never amounted to anything. His ambition is not born of a passionate love for his work, it's born of a profound, debilitating fear of being the ghost he's been running from his entire life. This ghost is not something to be exorcised, it's something to be understood. It's the part of you that holds all your unfulfilled desires, your silenced dreams, your roads not taken. And as long as you refuse to look at it, it will continue to drive your life from the shadows. It will compel you to make choices that are not truly yours, to chase dreams that feel hollow, and to live a life that is a carefully constructed lie. The ghost of what could have been is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign that a part of you is still fighting to be heard. It is a quiet reminder that you are living a life that is not entirely your own. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. Let's talk about the silent master that pulls more strings than you realize. You believe you're an independent man, a self-made individual who marches to the beat of his own drum. But what you perceive as independence is often just a sophisticated craving for validation, a quiet puppeteer pulling the strings of your every move. Think about how many of your decisions are unconsciously filtered through the question, what will they think? You buy a certain brand of car not just because you like it, but because you know it will earn a nod of approval from your peers. You post a curated version of your life online, not because it's real, but because it earns you likes and comments, small, fleeting hits of validation that are incredibly addictive. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you are a human being with a fundamental desire to be accepted. The problem is, when this desire goes unacknowledged, it becomes a silent master. It starts to dictate your life from the shadows. The quiet hand of approval forces you to make choices that are not in your own best interest. It makes you stay in a job you hate because it looks good on paper. It makes you tolerate a relationship that is unfulfilling because it's what society expects. It forces you to say yes when you desperately want to say no, all in the service of a validation you're not even sure you want. This isn't about being a people pleaser, it's about something deeper. It's about the fundamental human need to belong, to be seen, to be valued. And when that need is not met authentically, it will latch on to anything that provides a temporary fix. It will make you a slave to external opinion, constantly seeking out new sources of approval to fill an internal void. The man who appears the most confident is often the one who is most dependent on the approval of others. His swagger is a performance, a carefully choreographed dance to earn the applause he needs to feel real. The truth is, true independence isn't about not caring what others think. It's about understanding what you value and being at peace with the fact that not everyone will agree. The puppeteer will continue to pull your strings until you have the courage to look at your own deepest desires and to validate them for yourself. But that's only the surface. The real danger hides deeper. So we arrive at the end of the journey, standing in a quiet, dark room with a single mirror. We've unmasked the illusion of control, seen the cage of comfort for what it is, and stared into the abyss of shame, denial, and the silent bargains of power. We've confronted the ghost of what could have been and the puppeteer of external approval. But now, it's time for the final unveiling. The man you see in the mirror is not the man you are. He is the man you believe you must become to satisfy the desires you've been taught to have. All the desires we've spoken of, the desire for power, for status, for approval, are not evil, they are simply human. The tragedy is not in having them, but in allowing them to dictate your life from the shadows. The real you, the raw, unfiltered essence of who you are, has been hiding behind a performance, a meticulously crafted facade. Tonight, when you face your reflection, don't look for the man you've been told to be. Don't look for the man who is strong or confident or powerful. Look for the part of you that is afraid. The part of you that is insecure. The part of you that craves something simple and authentic. Look for the part of you they told you to kill, but it never left. It's still there, waiting for you to acknowledge it, to accept it, to give it permission to exist. This isn't about changing who you are, it's about accepting who you've always been. It's about understanding that your true strength isn't in denying your desires, but in owning them. In realizing that the path to true freedom is not through conquering your inner demons, but through making peace with them. You are not a soldier in a war you cannot win. You are a human being with a complex tapestry of desires, fears, and vulnerabilities, and the greatest act of power you can ever perform is to stop fighting yourself. To let go of the lie and embrace the truth. Tonight, when you turn out the light, the performance will end, the stage will go dark. And the man in the mirror will finally be gone, replaced by the quiet, unsettling clarity of a man who is ready to be free. The journey inward is not about finding a new path, but about remembering the one you were always on. And so, the screen fades to black, the whispers have stopped, the shadows have receded. What's left is just you. In the quiet aftermath of these revelations, you've looked behind the curtains, seen the strings, and heard the forbidden truths. The man you were at the beginning of this journey is not the man you are now. You are no longer just a spectator, you are a man with a choice. Tonight, you will face your own reflection. But this time, you'll see the part of you they told you to kill, the shame, the vulnerability, the hidden desires, but it never left. It was just waiting for you to see it. It was a ghost, a quiet companion, and now it's time to decide what you do with it. You can pretend you never saw this, you can close this video, go back to the cage of comfort, and live the lie, or you can choose to make peace with the shadow. This is the moment of truth. This is your chance to step out of the performance and into your own life. Don't just watch this video and forget it. I want you to do one thing. Right now, in the comments below, I want you to name one unspoken desire you've been hiding. One truth you've been running from, and I want you to say it out loud. It's not for me, it's not for anyone else, it's for you. It's the first step to owning your own story, and if you're ready to stop being a ghost in your own life and start living as the master of your own desires, then like this video, subscribe to ATAP, and join us on the next journey into the darkness. Until then, be wary of the shadows you find within, for they are more powerful than you could ever imagine.